Show, everyone. I
Yes.
know it looks a little different. Jose, who is normally the host of the show, could not be here on time. He will allegedly be joining us a little bit later, but
Allegedly.
you know, unprofessional, just all the way around. But shout out to Jose. He had to attend an award ceremony for my niece, also known as his daughter. So congratulations to Anita on the award that she's winning tonight, the academic award. Very, very proud of my niece. And Jose will be joining us. I mean,
If we're still here.
I mean, we're going to try and get through these topics real quick. We only have a couple of topics, and we have a couple of people in the chat too. So shout out to Kev. Thank you very much for joining us. So the 27th pick, the Baltimore Ravens select Desmond Watson, NT from no, I don't think so. What's going on, Coach? He says, let's get it started. Well, see, Coach, you got to check the post because I had posted on the community posts that that there was not going to be that we weren't going to be starting on time. We're going to be starting a little late tonight, so that's why we're here. Big Reg of Big Boy Talk. How you doing, Reg? Thanks for coming through.
Appreciate you.
And we've got Just Aloe. I know we're pushing it for you, Just Aloe. I know bedtime's coming up soon. We're going to try and get out of here real quick.
Thanks.
What do you mean no invite? You have the link. You don't need an invite, Coach. If you want to come on here, listen, give me a heads up because like setting up the cameras is it's ridiculous. But you can come on anytime you want to come on, Coach. Hendo's here. I don't know why he just showed up. But thank you for coming on to help me co-host the show, Hendo. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
It is going to be a shorter show tonight because, as you know, we will be back tomorrow. It is Draft Eve. So we will be back tomorrow evening to cover the first round of the NFL draft. I don't know about Friday, man. I'm not really feeling Friday. Like already they talking about Carolina, they're going to be trading down and taking less value to do it and all. I don't know. Like I'm not feeling what's happening in this draft already, but we'll see. We'll see how it looks after Thursday night.
Okay.
Osmond is in the chat. Thank you very much, Osmond. Jose playing hooky again. I know, right? I know.
Again. So look, I'm gonna channel my inner Jose. You will be there Friday. We will be there Friday. So yes.
Oh, we will be there Friday.
Yes, I'm Jose.
Hendo committing to the Friday show. You heard it here.
Hot Take will be there on Friday.
Oh no, that's not what you said though.
But I'm Jose.
It's not what you said though. You said you, and you are Antoine Hendo of the RouG Pod. So Hendo will be there Thursday evening and Friday. Locked in.
And be out of town Friday.
Coach heard it. Yeah, you'll be out of town. People from Baltimore don't leave Baltimore. Out of town is that 5-minute trip to Howard County, and you ain't allowed in Howard County.
I go to Howard County every morning. Stop it.
And bring in the violence.
Nah, sunshine.
It used to be a nice place to live.
It did.
But yeah, so we're just going to talk a little bit about the draft, maybe some of the rumors, the late breaking rumors that are out there. We've got a little bit of NBA to talk because the LA Lakers are back. If you didn't notice,
they finally got a playoff performer. Yes, they do. Luka, about time. Somebody that's clutch.
The biggest hater of all time over there. But that's okay. That's all right.
I just gave the Lakers praise.
No, you didn't. What you're doing is the passive aggressive thing that you like to do, where you like to talk down about LeBron, even though Steph has made approximately one game-winning shot in his entire life. But we are going to go ahead and hit this intro.
But let's do it.
What's going on, Zeke?
What's up, Zeke?
LeBron is statistically the most clutch player of all time.
Yeah, statistically he's not.
Yeah, statistically he is, but that's all right. Why are you sad for Giannis? Giannis got a ring. Giannis got his brothers in the NBA. Giannis got a massive contract, and now Giannis doesn't have any expectations. He getting beat down by the Pacers in round 1, and nobody cares. That's Dame's fault. That ain't on Giannis.
It's Dame's fault.
It is Dame's fault. That's what people are going to say.
I thought it was Doc's fault.
Well, Zeke, I'm glad you asked. Jose being I don't like to
a responsible adult.
I don't like to put this out there, but being the unprofessional YouTuber that he is not here on time. He's allegedly going to be joining us a little bit later. He had a ceremony to go to for my niece receiving an academic award tonight, and he will be on as soon as he is able, if we are in fact still streaming.
Out there being a wonderful father like he's supposed to be.
What's going on, Tracy?
Hey, Tracy.
Hendo's been putting out some great videos. Look at that. Look at the praise for Hendo.
Right.
She said, "Hey B, Hendo is great." I didn't see us. Tracy, where's the comment that says, "Hey Hendo, LBHT has been doing some great live shows." No,
Thanks.
there's nothing. You just want me to make sure I'm checking out the RouG Pod. All right, that's fine. You should all be checking out the RouG Pod. If you're not subscribed, I know you are, but if you're not subscribed, head over to the RouG Pod, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, because Hendo's giving you that heat every single day, just about.
And I'm retiring.
You're not retiring.
No, I'm not retiring from YouTube. I'm retiring from the Panty Patrol. And those are the dudes that like to get their panties in a wad when they hear something that another grown man says that they don't like. I'm not arguing with these dudes anymore over simple stuff because they didn't listen to the video and they just assume that somebody's talking about their favorite player. So listen, get your panties a size bigger, loosen that bra strap, and you dudes wrap up because I'm not arguing with you anymore.
Dana Franklin says, "Hey, academic awards are the ones that matter most." That's not what y'all say when Charlie Kolar won that academic Heisman, but that's okay. Appreciate it anyway. All right.
We did say that.
You did not say that. You said why you drafted nerds. All right, we're gonna go ahead and hit this intro and get this started because, like I said, we are getting out of here.
Wow,
very soon.
Wow, Tracy. Wow.
I mean, what did Tracy say?
She said, "You know that y'all are her favorites."
Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate it. I mean, Hendo can be your favorite too, though. It's all right. Hey, Davon, what's going on? What do we have here? We have the LBHT show that we do every Wednesday. Need you to go into the Discord to the book club that you signed up for and vote for a book, Davon, because I told you. I know you don't follow directions well, but I told you when you put your thumbs up on that post to take your thumb off of there because you weren't serious. But you went and you left it, all right? You left it on there, and now you posting in the books channel, but I don't see anything productive. I don't see anything constructive. So I need you to get in there. I need you to pick one of them 3 books and just stop messing around, all right? Thank you. Appreciate it. And now it's time for the intro. And just like that, we're back. It's amazing. It's amazing what happens when, you hit the button and it plays the entire video and everything's predictable. You get to see the entire intro that was created by our good friend Danny. He did outstanding work. We get a predictable break right there, and it's all good.
You know what the difference is, though?
What is the difference?
We are Androidless. I'm just saying.
That
Android.
That is very, very true. That is very, very true. You get... I mean, I know there's a lot of Android users out there, so I don't want to paint with too broad a brush. True. But I'm just saying, you got the 2 Apple users, and it's just flowing right now,
seamless,
right? But maybe it's a coincidence. Okay, maybe it has nothing to do with that at all. I'm just saying. But yeah, we do want to go ahead and jump in, obviously, to the draft talk. There's a lot of rumors out there, particularly in the top 10, right? Mm-hmm. Where Carolina resides, because Carolina doesn't win a lot of football games. But there's some rumors later too. I mean, we can get into that. We can talk about what mistake Baltimore is going to make this year. But before we do that, fix your face, man. You know what they do. Before we do that, you all know that we like to start every show with a Black History fact. And today is no exception. So we're going to go ahead and play that right now. And then we're going to hop into the NFL draft and NBA playoff talk.
Nice.
This week on the LBHT Black History Fact, Lewis Hayden was a fierce advocate for freedom and justice. Born enslaved in Kentucky in 1811, he endured the devastating separation of his first wife and child, who were sold away. Determined to reclaim his life, he and his second wife, Harriet Hayden, escaped bondage in the 1840s, eventually settling in Boston, Massachusetts. In Boston, Hayden transformed his home into a safe house for those fleeing slavery, making it a vital stop on the Underground Railroad. He didn't just provide shelter. He took an active role in protecting freedom seekers, going as far as threatening slave catchers with explosives if they tried to enter his home. He played a key role in dramatic rescues, including the Shadrach Minkins escape in 1851, where abolitionists forcibly freed Minkins from captivity, and the attempted liberation of Anthony Burns in 1854. Beyond abolition, Hayden championed school integration and helped recruit black soldiers for the Massachusetts 54th Infantry Regiment during the Civil War. His dedication to justice carried into politics. He became one of the first black legislators in Massachusetts in 1873 and served as messenger to the Secretary of State for 3 decades, one of the earliest black state employees. His legacy endures through the Lewis and Harriet Hayden House, now a National Historic Site along Boston's Black Heritage Trail. Hayden's life was defined by resistance, leadership, and an unwavering commitment to black liberation.
I can't imagine. Shout out to Lewis Hayden. Thank you, Jay, for sending in that suggestion for the Black History Fact this week. I cannot imagine threatening someone with explosives if they tried to come into my house. That's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, for a lot of them, they didn't know that there were explosives there until they actually tried to come in. And after, a few body parts were found here and there, a lot of them just didn't try them anymore. This was something that I was going to suggest to you like last week.
Yeah, you didn't do it though, did you?
Say less. Can't give you a compliment.
No, I'm saying don't try to. Like Jay suggested it. Don't try to hop on now. Jay suggested it. It's Jay's suggestion.
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is I appreciate the fact that I can come to a show, get a Black History Fact, get some sports knowledge, get high supreme level hating from at least one of the brothers, all in one package, all in one stream. I just want to say thank you.
You're talking about Jose.
Nah, I'm not.
I know you're talking about Jose.
Jose's a silent hater. I'm talking about the loud one, the boisterous one.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, being the professional that I am, I'm going to move right on by that. NFL Draft Eve. Tomorrow evening is the first round. Yes. Actually right about this time. I believe it starts at 8. Well, no, it starts at 7, doesn't it?
Does it really?
I don't know.
We're going to be late.
I just thought, yeah, we are. But no, the first round of the NFL draft, I kind of hate that they moved it to its own primetime spot, separated it from the rest of the rounds. But here we are, that we're not going back from that. So we're going to have the first 32 picks tomorrow. I'm going to be online for at least, maybe 8 of them. And we're going to be talking okay, chat saying the draft is at 8, so I guess 8. We'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be on time.
God damn it. All right. But that's okay because Carolina is picking very early in the evening. They're picking 8th overall. Mm-hmm. Baltimore fans have a much longer night ahead of them, picking 27th. And look, that means you're a better team, but you haven't won anything. So does it really feel like it, or do you feel like you're losing on both ends?
I feel like I'm losing on both ends.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
Because, we might actually get to a point where we wait those hours to get to the 27th pick and they trade back. Then what? We got to wait a whole nother day.
Chris in the chat says, crazy how Brodny and Jose broke up. I'm excited for the Hendo and Brodny era. We'll always remember you, Jose. Well, listen,
no.
Hendo getting real comfortable there. Jose was supposed to be here by now, so I don't know.
No, no.
Okay.
Me and live streaming, we have a checker pass. Like we trying to break up.
No. You were out here live streaming every single day through the month of December, as I recall.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a whole new year.
And it treated you well. So, wait, what? What? Oh, no, that's something else. All right.
See, everybody want Jose. Hey, like,
I know everybody wants Jose. That's
First-
why Jose is supposed to be here.
first
But
the Fat Boys break up, man.
Jesus Christ. All right. I had a couple questions I was going to ask you, but if you want to just continue to derail, you're welcome to do that as well. First to you.
Okay.
Who do you want the Baltimore Ravens to pick up tomorrow? At pick 27 or earlier or maybe later?
To be quite honest, under normal circumstances in certain drafts, I have certain players that I like for the Ravens to okay, let's be professional now. Get it together.
Thank you, Jay.
There are certain players that I want the Ravens to draft in the past, but this year I just want them to get the best player that can actually help the team win. Like no more projects, no more guys that they project that are going to be good in 2 or 3 years. I would personally, if I had to pick somebody, Gray Zabel, because I think he can be a swing tackle. Like he can play multiple positions, possibly. Defensively, anybody but a safety, because I'm just one of those people that don't believe safeties actually affect the game that greatly. And you want to put in 2 of them. You want to have 2 first-round safeties. That to me, that's just this asinine. So anybody that can help this team win now, because I think we need to kill that narrative that this team cannot get over the hump, even though from what I see daily is the Ravens have the best front office, the best owner, one of the best general managers who has the best draft over the last 6 years, but yet still there are no fruits there from all of this labor. So I need them to get somebody to come in and help Lamar get over that hump.
Okay. So when I asked you that, I was looking for a specific answer.
I said Zay.
Okay. So Gray Zabel.
That's a Gray
All right.
Zabel.
Cool. I'm just making sure. I'm sorry. It was a lot of words you were throwing at me there. The answer really only required 2, but you went with several hundred, which I appreciate. Now, the second part of that is, what do you think is actually going to happen tomorrow? Because they're not going to draft Gray Zabel. He's probably not going to be there for them to draft, and God knows you ain't trading up.
Malachi Starks.
Oh, that's lovely.
You have 2 words.
You have Kyle Hamilton, who you drafted in the top 15. Outstanding talent. He's been a very, very good player for you so far. At times, he's been that playmaker that you look for. You also just re-signed Ardarius Washington.
Yeah.
Who's a fan favorite. I know specifically one of your favorites as well, right? What position does he play?
He's a safety.
He's a safety? Okay, what and this guy Malachi Starks that you're talking about, what position does he play?
He's a safety.
And how many safeties do you typically need on an NFL defense?
Typically, you need 2, but the Ravens like to deploy 3 so that they can move Kyle Hamilton around and put him in a specialized area to most utilize him effectively. So
let me ask you this though. For other teams, is it possible to move a safety around without like actually having a third one on the field? Is that something that we've seen before, or is that?
If you have a defensive coordinator that can disguise coverages or scheme certain things up, yes, you don't need a third safety to actually move that first safety around. I mean, the Eagles used to do it a lot with Brian Dawkins, like Ed Reed. I mean, a lot of people have done it in the past, but you have to think we are kind of limited. Our defensive coordinator is entering his 2nd year. He's learning as he goes, and he doesn't have much help on the sideline because he has a 102-year-old Dean Pease. Then he has a 96-year-old Chuck Pagano helping him out, and nobody from the modern NFL to kind of help him run this defense. So he's learning as he goes. But I think more importantly, it's just organizationally how we do it, because even from the beginning of the offseason, Eric DeCosta started off the offseason talking about, we need that third safety. So it's not just from the defensive side. I just think we believe that we need 3 safeties because we are a team that's stuck in the 2000s, still thinking that defense wins championships. We need that middle linebacker and that inside linebacker and that safety to help us win games instead of getting into modern times, getting those offensive weapons to outscore teams. Because even though we've put all of these resources and allocated draft picks and free agency into the defense, we still were 27th in pass defense.
Yes.
We still had to outscore teams with Lamar to win games. That defense still got pushed around by the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. Like, so to me, it's crazy to still go through the same thing for a 7th year in a row.
Okay. I did have another question real quick regarding the roster, and specifically the safety position.
Okay.
How do you feel like the fan base as a whole? How do you feel about Sanusi Kane?
I think that he could develop into a solid player.
Okay.
But defensively, we don't allow the players over there to develop. They have to be either good now or they'll replace you with somebody else in free agency. Like, it's not like a wide receiver or an offensive lineman where they say, you know what, he'll be good. Just get him experience, give him the reps. If we bring in somebody else, they're going to take away from him and he's not going to develop properly. Defensively, we go out and actually get guys that can start right away.
Okay. One more question. Bo Braid. What are your thoughts on Bo Braid?
I think he's going to be a good one.
He's going to be a good one? Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Because I'm just trying to, as an outsider, I'm not a Ravens fan.
Right,
I'm not from Baltimore, obviously. Last year, I heard a lot of Ravens fans were very happy with picking up Bo Braid, with picking up Sanusi Kane, with Ardarius Washington, and obviously everybody loves Kyle Hamilton. And I mean, if from where I'm sitting,
Right.
that sounds like 4 safeties that you like, and you said that you need 3. And what I'm struggling with is that 4 is bigger than 3. So why would you use your first round pick on another safety when you don't even have one single starting guard?
We do have a starting guard. You got the Pro Bowler.
Okay. But okay, fair enough. Daniel Falalele did make the Pro Bowl last year. He was an alternate, as you like to point out.
He's an alternate.
How many starting guards do you need?
2.
You need 2.
You need
That's
2.
crazy.
Yes,
Okay, so
yes,
what are
yes.
you going to do with that second starting guard? Because from what I recall, Andrew Voorhees had won the job last year. Correct.
That's what they said.
That's what happened. And then very early on, Andrew Voorhees he handed that job back, right? And they gave it to someone else, and that someone else was Patrick McCarty.
He got hurt,
right? Yeah, but okay, no, he got hurt. Sure,
no, he didn't.
That's what he does.
That's what they said.
But Patrick McCarty's now gone. Correct.
Correct.
He's no longer a Baltimore Raven.
Facts.
So what happens with that left guard spot?
The left guard spot is being gifted to Andrew Voorhees again because, unfortunately, we zag when other teams zig. And I think that this front office likes to appear smarter than everybody else. So if they can just insert him into the starting lineup and he actually develops into somebody, now we can sit there and say, man, EDC did it again. He took this 7th round pick and made him into a star. But what ends up happening is players are who they always were sometimes. And Andrew Voorhees was injured in college. Somebody argued with me on one of my videos saying he only missed 2 games in college. No, he only missed 2 games his freshman year. Look at the totality of his college career. Get your facts straight before you start talking to people that actually do research. And his first season in the NFL, he missed it because he got injured during the combine. Then his second season, he got injured 3 games in. So what we're going to do is we're going to give him that starting job again, and he's going to last however long he's going to last, and he's going to get injured again, unfortunately, because sometimes certain people just can't shake the injury bug. And with the Baltimore Ravens, we have players that just through time and history show us that this is what's going to happen. We said the same thing about David Ojabo. Oh, he just got hurt this one time. He'll be fine. And I told y'all when we drafted him, he's going to be hurt. He's not going to play. And in this last season, he's going to be all right. And the same thing with Andrew Voorhees. He's going to be solid next year, possibly. And then possibly the next year price himself out of Baltimore. Who knows? It's the same thing, the same old song that happens each and every year.
Okay. But, they did re-sign Ben Cleveland. It was a third round pick several years ago. So if Voorhees does in fact get hurt, or he just plays like Andrew Voorhees again, you do have that option of putting Ben Cleveland in. What are you going to do if Ronnie Stanley or Rosengarten gets hurt?
Huh?
If one of those guys who play on the ends, they're called tackles.
Right.
You got the left one, you got the right one. Ronnie's been one of the top tackles in the league for a long time. He's had his injury troubles in Baltimore as well. He got over them last year, played very well. Roger Rosengarten playing that right tackle spot. He's coming into his second season. If one of those guys goes down, what's the plan there?
What had happened was free agency not over, right? And we still got the draft. We still have like 5 picks in the fifth, sixth, and seventh round. So
Malachi Starko play that. He gonna pick up that tackle. Is what you're saying?
Okay. We're in trouble. Like we are in trouble. There has been no plan to replace Ronnie Stanley if he ever went down. We tried the Alejandro Villanueva route. We tried the Juwan James route. It didn't work out. And then after that, they didn't get anybody else. At least I will say last season we had Pat McCarry just in case one of those positions went down, but he had to be a starter and then he left. So now we don't have any viable backup. So if anybody goes down on the offensive line, we're in trouble. Ben Cleveland, they don't trust him. Like he's going into his 5th year. And you're telling me an injured 7th round rookie is taking a job from him? It has nothing to do with skill. It has more to do with John Harbaugh's doghouse. But they need to find suitable replacements. And this is why we say going into this draft, they need to find that swing tackle early on and not in the 4th round like a lot of people are saying. They need to do it early, like in the 1st or 2nd rounds, because throughout the history of the Baltimore Ravens, I don't care if it's Ozzie, I don't care if it's EDC, they've had more success finding late round gems on defense than they have on offense. Like that's just something that they've been able to do. So for me, you're going to find that D tackle, you're going to find that safety, you're going to find that cornerback in the 4th and 5th rounds. The first 3 rounds should be dedicated to the offense. I saw somebody in the comment section say they think that Andrew Voorhees is going to be good. And to me, that's a problem. Why are we sitting here with the 2-time MVP having to think that somebody's going to be good for him, instead of knowing that he has guys around him to protect him? Because I said in a video before, if Kyle Hamilton goes down, we're still going to win. If Roquan Smith goes down, we're still going to win. If Namde goes down, we're going to win. But if Lamar Jackson goes down, I don't care what you put on this defense, this team isn't going anywhere. So for them to play around with this offensive line to me is just horrendous. You're getting a guy that has not been healthy in 7 years and saying, I think he's going to be good. Now go out here and protect my quarterback.
Sound upset.
I am upset.
Yeah, no, that came through. Now, moving on from the offensive line, because as you said, Gray Zabel, that's your pick, that's your guy. That's going to solve that issue at guard for you. Kind of a philosophical question for you, like an overall team building strategy kind of thing. Would you prefer, or do you think it's a better route to build evenly around the team, or do you prefer the route of kind of trying to have 1 or 2 dominant units and keeping your strengths strong, as they say? So like a Cincinnati Bengals approach, right? They got Joe Burrow, they got Jamar Chase, they got T. Higgins, right? So you have a great quarterback, you have 2 great wide receivers, O-line sucks, defense sucks. And instead of addressing those issues, they re-signed both those wide receivers, right? To keep that strength strong, because they're better there than arguably anybody else in the league, right? If you look at those top 3 guys, Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, that's arguably the best group in the league. Is that a style that you prefer, or would you say kind of trying to build the team up evenly?
I would fall to the point of trying to build evenly, but the Bengals tried to get a better offensive line. After they went to the Super Bowl, they went out and got Alex Kappa. They got Karras. They signed Orlando Brown Jr. It just didn't work out. So they tried and failed. It's kind of like Eric DeCosta in the draft. He has a lot of swings, but he has a lot of misses. But for me, I think we should build this team evenly. But as we've seen, You start from the trenches. You build up a strong offensive line to protect your quarterback, and you build up a strong defensive line to go after the quarterback. And unlike that, we can see this year in and year out. Like we've seen it even back in 2012, like the early 2010s, where with Tom Brady, he's dominating the NFL. And whenever he got pressure up the middle, he wasn't as effective. We've seen this because we've done it to him. But yet and still, we still want to go out here and get a safety. We want to get an inside linebacker. We want to get guys that really don't impact winning in the NFL. Now, they help teams with statistical things, but they don't really impact the game as much as far as winning goes, especially with this team because we don't create enough turnovers to do anything about it, to switch momentum or anything like that. But we can say statistically, we are number one, we're number 5. We got this guy who's a Pro Bowler and maybe an All Pro, but when it comes to the playoffs, that is my greatest concern. These guys don't show up.
Okay. Now, Eric DaCosta is pretty active in the trade market on draft day, right? Not in a positive way necessarily, more moving backwards. But this year they do have the added intrigue of having a player that no one wants. Now, Mark Andrews he's been available for a little bit. They haven't gotten a deal done. Do you think something gets done this coming weekend?
Yeah, I think he's gone. Like, I mean, for me, I like to look at things a little bit differently than other people. And when I look at certain things, it's like, all right, you know what? He didn't show up after the game. He didn't show up for exit interviews. But you would have thought that any time in the last 3 months, he'd have made an appearance somewhere in Baltimore and maybe spoke to somebody because, when the season starts and you come to training camp, you're going to have to talk to reporters. But yesterday he did something at whatever function he was at, not with the Baltimore media. And maybe he did this knowing he's gone from here. He's out of here. He's somewhere else. And the Ravens did right by him by picking up his his $4 million roster bonus, just saying, we appreciate everything that you've done. You're going to get that money, but we're still going to move you. So I think that he's possibly gone. I know a lot of people in the chat and a lot of people have been asking, what can we get from Mark Andrews? But it's not clear cut as what we can get for him because he's still an effective player. He did have 11 touchdowns last year. I think regular season, he's highly effective, but you have to remember he's in the last year of his contract. He's on the wrong side of 30, and he's done nothing in the playoffs. Nothing. So it's kind of hard to say. I think that with the right package, we can get a third for him. With the right package. Really? With the right package, like you got to package something with it. Like you're not just going to say Mark Andrews in the third for a third. That's not going to happen.
I see. So you're saying Mark Andrews plus a day 3 pick, something like that.
Something like that.
Get you a late third or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. You also have the greatest kicker of all time. Now, he had probably his worst year last year. Yeah. Definitely his worst offseason. What do you see going on there? Are you thinking that they are holding him just to see if they can get a particular guy that they're targeting in the 4th round at that kicker spot? Or are you thinking that they are actually waiting for the NFL investigation, even though people were tweeting about this multiple years before the story broke? Do you think they're just going to put on their blinders and keep him?
I think they're going to put on their blinders and keep him.
Wow.
Because he turned things around. And I think, in my opinion, a lot of his issues last season had to do mentally he knew what was coming. It had nothing to do with his kicking because once it was out and everything was put on the table, he started kicking a little bit better. And to me, the telltale sign was when the Ravens said, "Hey, I don't know where you get this zero tolerance policy from. We never said that. Like it's a case by case basis." When they came out and said that, it was like, no, John Harbaugh said, yeah, we have 0 tolerance. So now they're backtracking. They're trying to create that narrative to kind of open that lane to keep Justin Tucker around as long as he's effective. There's a difference between Justin Tucker and a difference between Ray Rice. Ray Rice last season with the Ravens, he rushed for 358 yards.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
What's up, Doncie?
You like Jose better than what? You can get the hell out, Don. All right.
First of all, that's my guy. Listen, hey, Don, say less. Say less. I will never come back here again. Say less.
No. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
But yeah, Justin Toucher.
Oh,
So yeah, because Ray Rice was not as effective. Ray Rice fumbled in the Super Bowl. His decline started there. The next season, he had 358 yards in 16 games, and because he wasn't effective, they just said, "You know what? The heck with this. We don't need you." But Justin Tucker can still be effective. The Ravens, in their going on 30-year history, have never drafted a kicker, so this might be the first year they have to, just in case. But I think they keep him around though.
interesting. I mean, off his worst season, I could not imagine them keeping him. I thought he was going to be gone the moment the calendar flipped over to the new year. They were able to cut him. I thought he was going to be out. Yeah, no, but I mean, I guess it speaks to the integrity of the organization because we know that they're tops in that. So they must know something that nobody else knows about his guilt or innocence. I'm sure that'll come out, and
I mean,
I can't imagine that it'll make you look like terrible people in the end.
but to them, the damage is already done, and by the time the investigation concludes, the season might be over. So we can make a decision then. Now our hand is forced. It's like, you've been found guilty. We got to let you go, so that they look like the class organization that stood behind their player.
Mm-hmm.
So but my thing is, if that were anybody else, or if that were someone else, they'd be gone by now. Like they would have cut them already.
As they should have. As they should have. Justin should also be gone.
Yeah,
Okay, but so we talked about what you would like to see happen in the first round, what you think is going to happen in the first round. Let's say that they do go Malachi Starks,
yes.
or let's just say they go with Malachi.
Okay.
All right, I've seen that in a lot of recent mock drafts. Malachi falling to Baltimore and then kind of snatching him up. What would you like to see at that point in the rest of the draft? Do you want to see them use those 10 remaining picks and just kind of hit multiple spots on the team? Do you want to see them package some of those picks and maybe try to get one or two extra day 2 picks? And what positions would you really want to see them go after?
First and foremost, if they take Malachi Starks with the first pick, I need EDC to recuse himself from that draft room. Just say, you know what, I'm out. Y'all figure it out yourselves. But for the rest of the draft, I think that they need to evenly spread some things out, because even though we talk a lot about defund the defense, they do need to add some pieces defensively. They need to add a third cornerback, because we don't know what's going to happen with Awuzie. He's another guy that they signed that just can't stay healthy. So TJ Tampa.
You got TJ Tampa, you got Awuzie, you've got Jalen Armour-Davis. You drafted a lot of guys. You can bring Caillou Kelly back. He ain't doing nothing.
So you just named 3 guys that can't stay healthy. But hey, defensively, they should be playing. You drafted them high, so they should play. They need to find somebody if Trenton Simpson can't start. They need a linebacker next to Roquan Smith. I'm assuming they need another safety, because that's all the hell they talk about, if they don't get Malachi Starks. But to me, more importantly, they need backup tackles. They need a starting guard. We need to find somebody possibly to take some pressure off of Derrick Henry in the regular season, so we can keep him fresh for the postseason, because he is getting a little bit older, even though he can still give us
to Justice Hill, but that's okay.
No. Justice Hill is still going. Listen, Justice Hill's still going to get his things, but being that we like to run the ball, we need multiple guys. We don't. Me personally, I think we don't need to depend on just 2. And Rasheen Ali, he's not even in the mix. I think we need to get another wide receiver, because we saw what happened in the playoffs. Zay went down right before, then Bateman got hurt on the last drive. Lamar had to pass to me out there. So
you brought back Tylen.
Yeah. Chris is here, so I'm not gonna say
anything. I'm gonna let Chris handle that tomorrow on the live stream. If that's the reaction you want to have when I say the name Tylen, I'm not gonna go anywhere with that. I do want to bring up somebody that you did not mention though. Keaton Mitchell, and where do you see him fitting in the running back room? Do you think that maybe was he just not fully healthy this year? Do you think that they look to get him more involved next season?
Yeah, I think that he wasn't fully healthy, and I think that it was kind of smart of them to kind of just get him acclimated to being on the field and working out and all those type things, because you don't want to rush these things and have him be injured again. But Next season, I don't know because we've talked about this before. Keaton Mitchell in under 100 carries got injured twice, 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to use him sparingly. Like we can't go and deploy him 5 to 10 times every single game. Use him as a change of pace, then you sprinkle in some Justice Hill, but we need somebody that possibly can be the heir apparent to Derrick Henry. So I would say somewhere in the 5th round, maybe.
In the 5th round.
In the 5th round. Like
An heir apparent to Derrick Henry.
Listen.
In round 5.
Listen. We aren't going to do anything with the running back position before then, first and foremost. Secondly, with Lamar back there, it's not going to really make a difference.
You got 37 picks. Why can't you do something earlier?
Because that's not our thing. We're going to go out of the first 4 picks. We're going to pick for 3 defensive players.
Okay.
And 1 offensive player.
Last Ravens question. If you had your pick outside of the first round, so no Ashton Genty, no, we're going to say Omarion goes in the first round as well. Outside of those guys, who would you want at running back to be that heir apparent to Derrick Henry?
Nobody in the draft.
Wow, you don't like any of these guys?
No, it's not that. It's not that I don't like them, but I have my personal favorites.
There's no Florida State guy this year, and it's just like
I just want my personal favorite. The back.
Who's that?
Nick Chubb.
Ooh,
he comes in.
You know what heir apparent means, right?
I mean, Nick Chubb still has 4 good years left.
Does he?
Yes. And then next season,
do you mean walking or do you mean in the NFL?
I mean in the NFL. Next season, he plays behind Derrick Henry, so we don't have to utilize him that much. He gets healthy. He gets right. He has 3 more years, at least 3 more years after that.
He's healthy now, ain't he?
I mean, he's recovering from a broken foot. So,
I mean, okay. But, I mean, his knee's healthy, right?
Yeah, the knees, he broke his foot.
Okay. Right. But it's the knees that have him not running like Nick Chubb, right? It wasn't the foot. It was the knee.
I mean, it was the no quarterback play in the offensive line.
Oh, it was the no quarterback play? Because I feel like a lot of running backs have had a lot of success, no matter who their quarterback is. But I guess that's neither Nick Chubb included. But I guess that's neither here nor there. I'm shocked to hear that you don't want any of these running backs, and that you would in fact choose a guy who's had multiple major injuries and is getting over the hill himself already. Go ahead. Yeah.
Can I be selfish for 1 year?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
If Tylan Wallace can be wide receiver 2, Nick Chubb can be
he can't be wide receiver 2. That's Zay. I mean, as everyone has told me, that you got Rashad at wide receiver 1, Zay's wide receiver 2. You signed some guy. I don't know. Deontay, something like I don't know, but some dude who hasn't really hasn't produced a whole lot recently to be that 3. Then you got the 4 in Thailand, as far as I'm aware, and then you got the 5 in Devontae, right?
Who?
Tez.
Who?
Walker.
Who?
Tar Heel.
Oh, one catch Walker. Got you.
They only threw it to him once, though, right? It's 100% catch rate, and I believe that went for a touchdown as well.
It did.
So now that we've gotten this nonsense out of the way, what everyone's here to talk about: the Carolina Panthers picking 8th in this draft, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of intrigue at the top of the draft. A lot of teams trying to trade down. Not a whole lot of teams trying to trade up right now. There's talk about Denver wanting to move up to grab maybe Ashton Genty. Mm-hmm. Carolina has been linked to Jalen Walker for quite a while. And it seems like that's the guy, right? If he's there at 8. But now the talk is he may not be there at 8. Okay, and now they're looking at, there's a lot of talk about Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle. There's some talk about, obviously Mason Graham if he were to fall. Teteroa McMillan. There's been some talk about Tyler Warren. There's a lot of talk going on. There's been a lot of talk about them trading back. Dan Morgan is begging someone to take the 8th pick off of his hands. Kind of to the earlier question about team building methods, right? Carolina really attacked the O-line last year in free agency. They signed 2 new starting guards in Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis. They've obviously drafted Ike Ekwonu in the top 10. Taylor Moton has been their starting right tackle for a very long time. They're going to be looking to move on from him fairly soon, but not yet. They signed Austin Corbett in free agency. They have Brady Christensen, Cade Mays, a couple other guys backing up. They brought back their entire O-line, a group that played pretty well last year.
Yep.
Worst run defense in the league. Just not even. They stamped their names on that one early. Okay, they ran away from the pack with that one. They gave up 200 yards. God knows how many times. How many games did they play? That's probably how many times they gave up 200 yards. This offseason, they went out and they signed Sean Wharton, Bobby Brown. They brought back, they're bringing back Ashawn Robinson, Shai Tuttle. They also signed Patrick Jones at edge. They're bringing back Jadeveon Clowney. They're bringing back Wonnum. And the talk is that 8th pick could be going to a defensive tackle as well. Now, when you look at Carolina,
right,
it's a team that doesn't have any real talent at wide receiver at this point. They've got one good corner. Michael Jackson played fairly well last season, but one proven corner. Okay, they signed Trayvon Moore at safety. They lost Shaq Thompson, and they have just the second year Trevin Wallace in that off ball linebacker position. They're bringing back Josie Jewell. But they have holes everywhere, is kind of the point. Do you like the idea of kind of finishing off those lines, the offensive and defensive line, before you even worry about anything else? Or would you try to go out and get some talent for Bryce or work on the defense, maybe the second or third level of that defense instead of using that very valuable 8th pick on that D-line again?
So for Carolina, I would like for them to get a weapon for Bryce. Last year, even with just the steps that you made with the offensive line, Bryce Young went from a historic bust to one of the better quarterbacks in the league. And even with your defense struggling, you beat almost Super Bowl participants, the Super Bowl winner. You were competitive more so than you were the year before. And you did this with Derek Brown being injured. Now, if he comes back, and he gives you anything, this defense is going to be improved just that much more by having him around. So I think in the later rounds, Dan Morgan can go get some pieces, but I think you need to get Bryce Young weapons. We saw that Xavier Legette is not that guy. I don't know how much longer great grandpa can play wide receiver for you. I just don't know. I like him. I like Adam Thielen, but on one leg, how much longer can he be your number one wide receiver and carry this group? So you have to get guys around Bryce Young to help him make that next step to becoming one of the elite quarterbacks and start winning games. And you being on the other side of watching the Baltimore Ravens, you watched Lamar have to struggle to make games competitive with just nonsense. You've seen it with Cam Newton, with Ted Ginn and Jericho Cotchery, and just all that.
Look at this dude. Look at this dude just rolling in here like it's all good. Hold on. I'm gonna ask you one more question. I'm gonna get set up here.
Oh, okay. I can leave.
No. You stay put. I'm gonna ask you one more question here though. Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
For most of the offseason, most of the year, the kind of consensus number 2 quarterback. Just how far do you think he's going to fall, or do you think that's kind of a media created narrative and he's going to Cleveland or New York or somewhere in that top 7 or 8?
I think it's media driven. I mean, they do this each and every season where they sit there and talk about guys are going to fall and they may not be first round talent. They said the same thing last year about Michael Penix. They were like, we may get him in the early second rounds, and look what happened. They traded up to get him. I just think that for someone to be the consensus number 2 and for teams to be quarterback needy, I don't think that they're going to wait that long. I think if anything, he may be gone by the 7th pick. He's going to go either to New Orleans. Cleveland may trade back up. He's going to go to New Orleans, or he's going to go to Pittsburgh, or Cleveland might trade back up somewhere. But I think he's going in the early first round.
Early first round. I mean, God knows Pittsburgh needs him, right? I think where is Pittsburgh picking? They're
25th,
picking
29th,
25th.
25th, something like 25th.
Okay, so they're pretty far down to try and move up and grab him if he's really gonna go at the top of the draft.
Do it.
But you can't be waiting on Aaron Rodgers because if he retires, you lose, and if he says yes, I'll play for you, you also lose.
Facts.
So that's not great. But at this point, we want to pause for a moment and welcome the other host to the show.
All right.
Hey everybody!
Is it?
All right, we
going
can
on?
start. Just a little bit late. We can start.
A little bit, just a tiny bit late, but appreciate you.
I didn't even get time to go to change into my work clothes.
Appreciate you trying to soldiering through and hopping on there. Maximum effort. That's
There you go.
great.
That's what I do.
We've kind of gone through the draft for Baltimore and Carolina. We were going to talk about. I know this is why you showed up. But we were going to talk about the Lakers being back, Lakers in 5, Lakers winning a championship, and then we were going to get up out of here.
You didn't do court of public opinion, did you?
No, I made an executive decision and cut that.
We gotta do that. I loaded the video and everything.
So I made an executive decision and went ahead and cut that. But since you're here, I will ask you. We'll do a rapid fire version of what we do with Hendo here.
I just heard the last one. Shedeur Sanders. I don't believe the hype. He's going to get drafted higher in the draft. If you need a quarterback and you're looking and you like Shedeur Sanders, you're not waiting to the second round to see if he drops to you. Okay.
I mean, Baltimore would.
Maybe they don't.
Well,
like him,
yes,
though.
unless you're Baltimore.
That's Baltimore.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't like him. All right. So what I asked Hendo real quick. Who do you want Baltimore to draft, and who do you think they're going to draft?
I want them to get a tackle. What's the guy's name? Simmons from Ohio
Josh
State,
Simmons.
or Gray Zabel, old lineman.
Oh, look at that! That's what Hendo said. He said Gray Zabel.
Well, okay. I had three players. Three players: Simmons, Zabel, or Omarion Hampton. Okay.
No, listen. Let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
This man said he would not want any running back from this draft to be the heir apparent to Derrick Henry because
You said
he wanted Nick Chubb, the dude who has 0 knees and is 30 years old.
Leave my man alone. You took some of the guys off the table. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. He backs you in the corner.
I took Ashton Genty and Hampton off the table.
Right.
We were talking post first round, and he said none of them.
If he's still there at the, when we pick, I wouldn't mind Omarion Hampton in the first, and then trying to get a lineman in the second round. But priority is old lineman. We really need to get a tackle, somebody that can play guard right now and kick out to the outside, or somebody that can at least float around the line, because I think you mentioned it earlier, we have no swing tackle. And we need real competition at guard. I don't care how people feel about Voorhees and Falele. You gotta get somebody in there that can challenge them, because it's not looking great.
Now,
Huh?
now don't overlook the fact that we could possibly trade Owe and get another first round pick. You laugh. Some people might value it. I don't know. We got a first round pick of Hollywood Brown. If I'd have told you that back then, you could laugh too.
You traded did you trade a second? Oh no, that was for that was for your starting left tackle.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah, no, that's true. You never know. There are a lot of idiots out there, but so now that's that's how you'd like them to draft. Who do you think they're going to pick?
I think they're going to go cornerback. I know there's talk about Malachi Starks. I don't see them getting Malachi Starks. I'm not even sure Malachi Starks will be there at 27. But I think cornerback is a position that it seems like every year for like the last, 4 years or so, they've been trying to solidify a second corner, and now that Marlowe is playing more slot than anything, they're looking for another outside corner. I think they will love to have 2 young corners on rookie deals, so they don't have to pay that excessive amount of money to get high end corners. So there's somebody there. What's the guy's name? Siobhan. I forget his name.
Revel. I believe
Revel.
Yeah.
He might be gone before we pick 2, but if somebody's there, look for the Ravens to get a corner. I would hate it. I would hate corner. I would hate edge. I would hate D tackle. That's another possibility there. Especially D tackle. You can get those later for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We have to start protecting Lamar and be serious about this team. Get some O-line.
All right. We are ready to, since you insist, we are ready to go ahead and I messed up.
You didn't ask me any Panthers question.
No, I didn't. Well, because we're done now. We're done. This is,
Wow.
this is a
I thought we were doing
short
rapid
show.
fire.
This is a short show. Okay, I'm
I
rapid
think-
firing the questions. Y'all aren't rapid firing the answers back at me. All right,
You keep cutting me off
we
and telling me a
gotta get
backstory when
we
I'm
gotta
trying to
get
get.
up
I'm trying
outta
to
here.
just
We
rapid
gotta
fire
get
through the
up outta
answers.
here.
So
We
Panthers
have to get up out of here.
I believe the hype, and they're going to trade back, and I think they're going to go. I think they're going to go offense. If they trade back too far to get Tedrow McMillan, I can see Matthew Golden.
Well, now you've really ruined my night, and we're just gonna.
You don't like Matthew Golden?
We're just gonna move on. Is what we're gonna do now
okay.
because I'm disgusted at this point.
You don't like Matthew Golden?
No, don't want him. Not really. I don't like this wide receiver class. I don't like this wide receiver class. Honestly, I'm being 100% honest here. Okay. If it's not Tedrow McMillan, I would wait for Ayamanor in this draft.
Oh, okay.
That's just me. That's just me. I'm not a big fan of most of these guys. I don't think it's a really impactful receiving class. So don't trade down past 12, Dan. Because they say the Cowboys are waiting to draft Tedrow. We're gonna go ahead and now switch over to the court of public opinion, and then, as I keep teasing, we're gonna get up out of here.
After we talk some NBA. All rise. Court is now in session. What do we have, B?
I don't really know. I didn't see the video. If I'm being
God.
honest. No, but
Okay.
we have it's a yearly discussion in sports from the journalists who are friends with coaches. Not even a discussion. It's those guys lecturing fans about celebrating people losing their jobs, and that it's not okay, guys, because that's how they feed their families. That's their livelihoods. And you shouldn't be celebrating that, right? And some of these guys, they're not all millionaires. Some of them they're moving their families 5-6 times in 3-4 years. Okay, it's a terrible situation. Now we do have to go to break, but when we come back, we're gonna go over all of the players who we think should be cut from your favorite team, which is completely different. Completely different.
Yeah.
Because when you cut a player, as everyone knows, they just land on their feet automatically. They're right back. And
They didn't earn it like the coaches did.
they definitely didn't. And then when it's not like the coaches will get fired and then be like, hey, we still have to pay you $80 million over the next 7 years, so you can just kind of chill. That never happens.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't happen in Carolina.
So this all came from a quick little short that I saw from the Dan LBHT Show, where Dan's good friend Stan Van Gundy, he kind of brought it up. I don't think that was the topic. I didn't see the whole segment, but he was just kind of talking about how he doesn't really like when fans cheer when coaches get fired. I always rubbed them the wrong way. And look, to Dan's credit and his team over there, they kind of push back a little bit. They're like, look, man, when you make millions of dollars, it stings a little less, But it was just a quick clip, and I wanted to play it.
Stan Van Gundy clip.
Yep, you want to play it? Go ahead.
I do react negatively to the glee that a lot of fans take when somebody gets fired, because I don't care how much money you got coming in. Mike Budenholzer gets fired in 1 year. He's got $40 million coming in. And you know what? It hurts. I don't care. I've been through it enough. I can tell you, Mike Budenholzer and his staff, it hurts.
But
I don't care how much money you make.
But it does hurt slightly less. Tony, everyone listening to this
It
is
hurts
saying
slightly less when you can go and hang out in the Keys for a couple of years and fish and do your own thing.
Yeah, you know what? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. I've been there 4 times. It doesn't.
To the Keys.
You're better off. I get that. I get that. You're better off. But when somebody tells you, we don't want you anymore, you're not good enough, we're better off with somebody else, you can't tell me. I don't care who it is. There's nobody that does not sting. I mean, yes, it's easier to move on. I'll give you that. But it's still.
So I was almost with him, except for that one little part where he disagreed, saying it's the same. When they're trying to tell him like it's a little different, he's like, it's not different. No, it's way different. It is way different.
And look, I like Stan Van Gundy. You know, I've always been a fan of him as an announcer, and I liked him as a coach and everything. But like, it's borderline offensive to say it's the same thing for a guy to be able to get fired and immediately go on vacation for however long they want to get over it, versus a lot of people in this country who would get fired and they don't know if they're going to be able to pay their rent next month.
Right.
They don't know if they're going to be able to eat. They don't know. They're not going to be able to afford medication that they need to live. It's an absolutely absurd opinion for a guy in that position to have.
Yeah, not only, I mean, it stings. No, man, like you have Mike Budenholzer is the example he used. Mm-hmm. He said he gets fired and he has $40 million coming in. So working is optional for Mike Budenholzer forever. He never has to work again. Okay, that's optional. So he can take his time and think about his next move. He can go on TV. He can wait for the right job. He can go be an assistant somewhere. He has plenty of options because he's in the circle. So he will be employed again if he wants to be.
Right.
Okay. If you and I get fired, right? Even the average person, I wouldn't say the average person, but even if you're somebody that makes 6 figures plus, making decent money, if you got fired just boom today, hey, they call you in like, hey, you're out. You got to make some moves. Okay, maybe you have a little bit of money saved up to where you can you'll be okay for a couple weeks or a couple months. Most Americans don't, but you have to make some moves. You might have to take a job, flipping burgers or scrubbing toilets or whatever until that next job comes up. You might be confident that one will come up, but you got bills to pay in the meantime. That stings, Stan. Okay, like Stan never has and never will have to face that kind of pressure, right? Stan is an older guy, and he might tell you, back in my day, I did this and that or whatever. Yeah, you never did it as a grown adult, having to take care of a family and been put in a position where it's like, well, damn, man, like I gotta put food on the table right now. I need something ASAP. He's never experienced that. None of these coaches have ever experienced that.
I mean, listen. First of all, I don't even believe that he believes what he's saying. Because if you listen to what he was saying, he was like, yeah, because, he's got 40 million. And he paused to think about it like,
Right.
He's like 40 million. Yeah, because that stings. And, just it hurts you not to be wanted. Okay, don't want me for $40 million. I couldn't care less. That football player that signed a $40 million deal, he gets cut. He's not getting that $40 million. He's getting whatever they gave him and a thank you for what you did for us. Those coaches, he can get that $40 million, get fired, and then next week sign to another team and get $20 million. And it doesn't affect the salary cap. He gets all of that money. Or he can just choose to live the rest of his life on an island like Cliff Kingsbury until he decided to come back to the NFL.
Right. And Mike Budenholzer, like you mentioned before, Jose, they're in the circle, right? Mike Budenholzer got fired from the Bucks, and Mike Budenholzer got another job coaching in the NBA, right? He didn't get kicked out. One team said, "Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna play musical chairs. You're gonna go coach somebody else. Doc Rivers is going to come in here and fail for a couple of years. Then we'll put the song on again, and we'll shuffle around until you guys all decide that you want to retire, and then we'll bring in some fresh blood. But you're not going anywhere. Yeah, nobody likes to hear that you're fired. Nobody likes to hear that you're doing a bad job. But that's not what jobs are about for most people. It's not about the validation of the customer or your supervisor or your manager. That's not what you're there for. You're there because you need that money to survive, and that's not why you're there in the NBA.
See, this is why I like doing segments like this, because Kim didn't know. She said, "Huh? He still gets all his money?" Yes. All coaches, I think in every sport, it's 100. Their contracts are 100% guaranteed. So, when you have a Matt Rule situation where he's got what do you have, like a 6-year deal?
There's other examples.
and no. It's a perfect example. It's a perfect example because we celebrated when he left. He was awful, but he also celebrated too. It didn't sting for him. He was more than happy to leave with the $70 million or whatever
it definitely stuck with him because he made sure to negotiate his Nebraska head coaching deal in such a way that it did not affect the payments that he was going to get from Carolina.
Yeah.
He backloaded his Nebraska deal so that he could get all the money from Carolina and then start getting paid by Nebraska. It didn't work out that way. They sued and they're like, yeah, you can't really take the W, Matt.
That was smart though. That was smart. But no, okay. I can get it from an emotional point of view, like Kim said in the chat. These guys are competitive, right? They're coaches, players, they're all competitive at that level. They want to win, and yeah, it's a sting to their ego, for sure. And I get it. It's, you put your all into it. You're passionate about it. I respect that part of it. You gotta be, So yes, it does sting from that point of view, and you don't like it when fans celebrate something that's painful for you. But it is a completely different kind of pain that you simply do not understand. Right? You just don't understand. Like when you say, "Oh, well, these guys have jobs and they have to feed their family." Now you're speaking on something you're just unrelatable to the working class person. You're never going to be in a position that they're in.
Because those are two different things, right? Like feeding your family, making money to pay your bills. That's what most people have jobs for. That's not why you have that job. You have the job, like you said before, because you're competitive, because you want to win, blah, 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 blah. And that's fine. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. It is not remotely the same. And listen, here's the other reason that I don't side with Stan on this. The people who need their job to live rely on sports a lot of times as their only entertainment, their only escape, the only thing that they really love, outside of your family, your friends, and things like that. But that's what you invest in.
Yeah.
And you screwed that up for a number of years. Right? Like now I can't enjoy the one thing that I've enjoyed because of you.
Right.
You're damn right I'm gonna celebrate when you get fired.
Yeah.
And you know what? You won't care. You're not. The coaches don't have to turn on Twitter. Why are you checking? Stop searching your name. Just like dude said, go on vacation. Get over it.
The whole reason you get paid millions of dollars as a coach, as players, or whatever, is because the expectations are extremely high. Sometimes, you can argue a little bit unreasonable, right? Especially in the NBA. You could be a coach, literally the coach of the year 1 year and fired the next. Okay. They know that. That's why you get paid what you get paid, and it's guaranteed because, hey, you might be an excellent coach and you're great right now, but we might have to make a pivot here in a year or two. But here's all this money to compensate you for the time that you invested here, and time that you're gonna have to spend, looking for your next job. You're covered. So financially, you never have to worry about that. That's a type of pressure that you never have to worry about. It's just all about winning, and that's how they want it.
Yeah, but even more so when you get to Stan Van Gundy's level, and some of these coaches, they've been fired multiple times.
Yeah.
They've moved their families over a dozen times. They know that they don't care. They're glad that they got to a point where they're getting 20, 30, 40 plus $million per contract. So their feelings aren't really hurt. Yeah, I really wanted it to work in New Orleans. It just didn't. On to the next one. I'll wait for the next opening. I'll be back in a year or two. So their feelings aren't really that hurt because they've been through this cycle too many times before.
And they know they're coming back, unlike players.
Know they're coming back. Yeah. Because I don't have to be physically fit to coach till I'm 80.
Right.
Facts. All right. Well, let's keep the basketball theme going. Let's go over the NBA playoffs real quick, and then we'll get up out of here. Like B said, we want to make this a shorter show. So, but if you want to continue this party, look, there's one more big story out there. I know you guys were probably asking earlier. You guys going to cover it. We are going to cover it. We're going to be talking about some Shannon Sharpe in the overtime show. You can find that on our Patreon, patreon.com/LBHT Show. It's going to happen right after this show. So if you have as little as $5 in your pocket, really $3. If you just want to pay for that one episode, it's $3. But pay $2 more and sign up for the whole month. And you also get access to our Discord channel, which is a lot of fun. Okay. So patreon.com/LBHT Show. Hey, how are you? Hi.
Say hi.
Hi,
How are you?
it's me, Dream Baby.
Hi, Dream.
It's you, Dream Baby.
But I don't feel so well.
Oh no, are you sick?
But I got boo-boo.
Oh, where?
But I got 3 boo-boo.
You got
3 boo-boos? Did you fall down?
Yeah, she fell. I don't know.
But I just fell.
She went with her father today somewhere.
But it's ow.
Okay, ow. Go get a Band-Aid.
No. I'll see you later.
All right. I don't know how you got down here.
That is an excessive amount of boo-boos.
She said ow for each one. Ow. There's 2 boo-boos.
Ow.
My goodness.
Hey, come on.
Okay, take it to Nanny. Thank you.
No, then you should go bye-bye.
All right, NBA playoffs. Last night, the Lakers redeemed themselves somewhat. Look, the first game was a blowout. They looked like they weren't ready, but they woke up last night. Now, they got off to a big lead, and B and I talked about it earlier. I don't think they fell asleep at the wheel. I just think Minnesota.
I didn't say they fell asleep at the wheel.
You said, well, they let them back in a little bit, but Minnesota's a good team. They fought back, but I think the Lakers showed a lot because even though they had a bad shooting night defensively, they would not allow Minnesota to get back in it. They cut it down to 9, but you kind of felt that that's about as far as they were going to get. Minnesota
and that's what I mean. They were coasting in that, like, they kept it at a certain level throughout the first 3 quarters. At the end of the third quarter, I believe they were still up, I think 17 or 18. Like, they knew it was over. And they were, I'm not saying they weren't trying on offense in the fourth quarter, but they weren't trying as hard. They were putting up some bad shots and everything, but like you said, they were making sure Minnesota wasn't getting back in it either. I think Luka's been great so far. LeBron, I think, is kind of wearing or rolling into it a little bit. The rest of the guys on the team, excuse me, pointing at you, Austin Reeves, need to play better and more consistently. But defensively, they're going to be a problem for Minnesota. Now, in this game, a couple of key bench players for Minnesota got into foul trouble early.
Hold on. Can we switch scenes?
Do we need to switch scenes? Or?
Yes. Can we go to the basketball one?
We don't have the basketball one anymore, do we?
Yeah. That's okay.
Hold on.
And by the way, Sam Van Gundy's guilty. Okay.
Facts.
We need to put up a poll.
Open and shut.
NYB's putting that scene together. I said patreon.com/LBHT Show. Also, LBHTShow.com. The newsletter next week. Probably a week from today. Don't quote me on that. Around that time, okay? The newsletter will be coming out. So go to LBHTShow.com, sign up for the newsletter, right? It's free. and you will love it. Okay. And while you're at LBHTShow.com, you can get some merch. There we go. Yes. Now, B was talking about how LeBron is kind of rolling into the playoffs. He's getting up to speed.
That's not what he said.
Yeah, he said that.
He said the Lakers finally have a closer in Luka. That's what he said.
That's not what I said.
Oh, I thought this was fine.
But I think that defensively they are going to be a problem for Minnesota, and I think that Minnesota's formula of 1 star plus a lot of role players is not going to serve them well. They have good players. Jaden McDaniel's a good player. Rudy Gobert's a good player. Nas Reed, but when you have
Julius
that
Randle
one
a star?
No, when you have that one guy in Anthony Edwards, and he's not performing at a consistently high level, like those role players are not going to save you.
Like I'm asking, like that wasn't a joke. Like is he considered a star? Is Julius Randle considered a star?
No, I don't think so.
No,
Because you have stars, you got all stars, and you got superstars. Right? There's only a handful of superstars. You got a few all stars, and you got some star players.
And 2 of them superstars play in LA. That's why this series is over on 5.
Okay, all right. Golden State, how they looking over there, Hendo?
They're okay. Jimmy Butler has helped some things, but I mean, just once Steph Curry goes to the bench, they struggle sometimes. So I'm not expecting a title. I'm not expecting a Western Conference run. But if we see them Lakers, though, we got something for them. Believe that.
4 tough games.
Yes, 4 tough wins.
Okay.
Big Cuz says Edwards is not ready. No,
It's right.
I don't think so.
6.
I don't think so. Who's not ready is Ja Morant. How y'all feel about Ja, man?
Ja ain't never gonna be ready. Ja is an idiot.
I think now's the time to trade Ja Morant. He's still young, great athlete. Okay,
Facts.
It's one of those things where a team can look at him and say, "We just need to wait a couple more years and wait for him to mature," and that might be true. It might be one of those things where he just needs a couple more years to mature and take the game seriously, and we'll have a great player. But right now, you're not even close to competing with him. And I don't know, did he already sign a max deal? I think he did.
I believe he
signed a max
did.
deal. Well, you're not going to pay him another max deal, okay? Like we know that if the Mavs didn't want to pay Luka a max deal because he ate a little too much, he had an extra piece of Texas toast. The Memphis Grizzlies are not going to want to pay Ja Morant in his next deal. So now's the time to trade him and get the most that you can for him.
Yeah, I just feel like he's been through some things that should have jolted him awake, right? It should have kickstarted that maturation process, and he didn't. So if I'm one of the other 29 teams, I have zero confidence that time is going to do it. You know what I mean? And this is on a team that has a lot of talent that should be competitive. They should be making runs. So if I say, hey, Ja, we're going to take him out of that environment and drop him onto this other team that is likely not nearly as talented, I'm not going to expect him to even keep his head straight to the level he's done in Memphis.
True. I mean, I agree. He's an immense talent. Great athlete. Basketball wise, you're not going to win with him. You're just not. So go ahead, trade him to New York. Let him end his career as a Knick with the spotlight and no championships, no winning, like most people. Oh, I'm sorry. Pay the bills.
Pay the bills. Leave Ja Warrant alone.
The Knicks are competitive, though. The Knicks are going to make a run.
Right. And Memphis is competitive. And
they got beat by
not this season, but they've been competitive and they've tried to make runs. So
yeah.
But the Knicks are a serious team. The Knicks are a contender since about last year.
I don't think they're a contender.
I think they
Contender?
listen. There's one team in the East that I look at and say they probably can't beat them, and that's Boston. And unfortunately for them, they play them in the second round. But they can beat everybody else in the East. And listen,
Well, okay, I mean,
if Boston's, they can beat
Right.
Boston too. But I'm just saying, like, Boston's a
Let-
better team than them.
let me ask you
But,
this, man.
yeah.
This series ends up going to Game 7. You still feeling good about the Knicks?
Yeah, this isn't going 7.
But if it
Okay.
does,
But look, I wouldn't say going 7 with Detroit is a terrible thing. Like, Detroit's a good young team.
They're a good young team. But you
I
can't.
think the Knicks can beat everybody in the East except for Boston.
Okay, all right.
and
fair
Cleveland.
enough.
No, they can beat Cleveland.
But look,
Y'all gonna
To be
learn
fair-
about Cleveland when they play a real team not named Miami.
to be fair to Memphis, like they shouldn't be losing by 50. But the Thunder are an amazing team.
Yeah, they are. Until the playoffs hit.
They are great on offense and defense. Yeah, to the playoffs hit. Well, not in the first round.
Facts.
Not in the first round. There's a lot of good young teams coming up, man. The NBA is in good hands. You know, you just need to get Shaq up out of there and Stephen A's out of the world and get some better ambassadors for the sport. Because in the West, man, I see there's at least 3 teams that could win it. Right? You got Thunder, obviously. I think the Lakers have a shot, and you got Denver, and you could even make an argument for the Clippers if Kawhi stays healthy.
I don't think Denver can do it. I think that they have deteriorated too much around Jokic because Jamal Murray was never a superstar caliber player.
Yeah.
And he's past his peak at this point. So when Jokic isn't on the court, they're not good. Like they are bad. And he can't play all 48 minutes. He's got that Luka issue too. I don't care what any of y'all say. All right. They were just smart enough to pay him anyway. So
Wait a minute.
He's out of there.
What
They're
Luka
not.
issue?
I don't know the little perceived issue of.
Oh, because I've seen Jokic play 48 minutes.
I've seen Luka play 48 minutes. I'm saying the perceived issue, Hendo. But I don't think the Nuggets are good enough around him right now to win a title. But I mean, they're going to be extremely tough for anybody they play, obviously. Because
Yeah.
And don't forget the Warriors.
You said yourself that they weren't in it, so that's why I let them out.
I mean, you never sleep on them, but
No, you can't sleep on any of these teams. These are well put together teams.
This is a great question from Jay because I wanted to ask this as well. I need Big Reg to answer why the Magic are down 10 plus without Tatum playing tonight.
they're not a good team.
Yeah, and listen, don't be out there getting beat by 50 and scarring Paolo Banchero before you send him to LA.
Before you send
All right, you need to be responsible stewards. All right. Otherwise, if you're not going to be responsible stewards, we're not going to let you have the early years of our big men anymore.
First of all, this Orlando to LA pipeline has to stop.
I love it.
It's got to be. It's enough of it.
I love it. I think it's fantastic.
All right, let's move this along to submitted questions. I think we had like one question, but let's play the video.
It'll be a minute, but y'all can talk. All right.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot the Android was back in town. My apologies. We had smooth sailors when we first started.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's the Android's fault.
Is.
The guy that's
Everybody
keeping the show in
knows.
order.
Everybody noticed that it was the Android.
I know she hasn't played the intro either.
We did play the intro. Oh, look who doesn't watch the show.
Did you play it? Did you do a cold opening?
We did cold opening, and then we played the intro.
Okay, I'll have to go back.
Yeah, we did. It was 7 minutes and 18 seconds in. Check it out.
Apologize.
Oh, 10 minutes in?
7 minutes and 18 seconds.
Oh, that's why I missed it. I see.
All right, because
Okay,
you don't watch the show.
All right, apology retracted. That's way too late in the game. Okay, there we go.
Says the guy who wasn't here.
It's not too late in the game. We had to spend half of that time explaining where you were.
You
Facts.
had to. You just
Yeah,
say,
people come
"Oh,
ask
let's be back
Everybody
later."
was asking. The only person I didn't answer was Felipe because I don't like him, and he came later.
Wow. Insensitive.
Yowza.
All right.
Wow.
We have I think one question.
I believe it's one question as well. I gotta pull it up though. Give me one
And that came
second.
from Urban. And listen, B hasn't done a good job posting in the
I do the best job
community
being on
tab, but
time.
that's
Though.
okay. You can still put your question there. You can hit us up anywhere on social media at LBHT Show. By the way, there's a way we can get a blue check on Blue Sky.
Oh, where?
Yeah, we could change our handle to our website. Instead of having it at LBHT Show, you can say at LBHTShow.com. I'll put you onto that later.
All right, here's our question. That wasn't the question. I don't know why there's. I guess this is Urban's answer in parentheses here, but who would we take, Tyler Booker, at 27? Or should we move up, because moving back is not an option, to get a premier player, any offensive lineman, specifically a guard or could play guard, that could make us better now? Like it's, I don't understand. I don't get it, Urban. Like why the parentheses? What are you saying there? But he says, who would we take at 27? Or should you move up to get a premier player?
I think not only do I think we should move up. I mean, we have 11 picks, 10, 11 picks. We should move up twice. I think we should move up and then package our picks and move up again. Okay.
Well, listen. You're at 27, right? Mm-hmm. The Broncos are at 20, and that's who. There's some buzz about them trying to move up to 8 to get Ashton Genty if he's available there. And there's also talk that Dan Morgan, being the sort of pushover that he is willing to take less than fair value to move down. So if you're ever going to move up and make a big splash in Baltimore, this is the year and 8 is the spot.
There you go. Do what you got to do. And look, trade a bunch of picks this year, trade some picks next year. Like, do what you have to do to move up. Yeah, that's another option. Move up in the second as well. Don't just sit where you're at.
Right.
I want to move up in the first and move up in the second. Or I gotta go back and look at that draft where the Vikings managed to trade up twice back into the first round. They had 3 first-round picks.
Mm-hmm.
They made some bad picks, but I like the aggressiveness.
They had opportunity.
The Jets more recently, if you want a good option, they just picked up the 5th-year options on all 3 of their first-round picks from 4 years ago.
They hit on all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yep. So all right, that's it.
That is it.
Okay,
we did it.
Sweet. Hendo, I appreciate you coming in and filling in for me, man.
No problem.
Let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me at the RouG Pod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Blue Sky, TikTok, anywhere you have social media. Also, if you want to further what I do and help my channel grow, you can go over to patreon.com/ROUG. And for, like he said, just $5 a month, sign up and be a part of my community and LBHC's community, because we just all roll together. Trust me, it is something that's worthwhile. And for the $5, you get a lot of things outside of the realm of sports. We help with life things. We help if you want to get to YouTube. We talk life. Like you said, we have a book club. So this is just more than don't do it.
And if you have committed to being in the book club, get into the books channel and vote for the book.
I thought we already did that. I already started reading that book.
No, nobody has voted. We have 3 options. One of them being this one right here, The Nickel Boys by Colson
That's
Whitehead.
what I'm reading.
One of them being
that's the book we're going to read.
The Rise of the Black Quarterback and What It Means for America by Jordan Reed. That was suggested by our guy Ferris. And shout out to Ferris. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
For looking out for our nephew or my nephew over at WrestleMania this weekend.
Son.
Really appreciate it. The other option was put in there by Jay, and that was The Haunting in Barry's Lodge, a suspenseful horror novel. He picked that one because it is 173 pages, and larger page counts intimidate Jay. But it doesn't matter. Just pick one of the 3.
All right. So yeah, that's that.
All right.
Since he hijacked me.
That is the RouG Pod. He's putting out all kinds of dope content. He just put a video out today, so go check it out. All right, he may or may not be in the overtime show. It depends on where he ends up while we switch.
You be getting
while I
lost.
switch videos.
You be getting lost in the ether, man.
But for the Patreon members, the overtime show starts right now. We're gonna be talking Shannon Sharp, so get ready. Everybody else, thank you very much. Have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow for the draft. Peace.